Hello everybody, hope you're doing alright, hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping sane. Sorry it's been a little while since I spoke to you guys last. In fact, look, see how much my hair's grown in that time. It looks so awful. So that answers the first question people often ask me, which is, Phil, why do you always wear a hat in your videos? Well, there you go, that's the reason why I wear a hat in my videos. Thank you for sticking around, thank you for continuing to support the channel, and thank you to everyone who's now subscribed to the channel. Like I say, been a bit hectic at home, obviously, with half term, now with homeschooling, with two people working from home. It's been a bit of a nightmare, and I haven't really had the time, the space or the privacy to be recording these videos. But I won't ramble on too much. I want to get in really to the subject of today's videos, and that is the impact of gambling on your health, on your diet, and on your physical lifestyle. This is actually inspired by one of your guys' comments. Who commented in one of my recent videos and said, do I find that I eat differently? Do I find that gambling affects my diet? Do I find that addiction affects my diet? I'm paraphrasing, sorry, my memory's terrible. And I can categorically say, without a shadow of a doubt, yes. Gambling and gambling addiction affected my diet and my physical health massively. And there are two fundamental reasons for that. The lesser of which I will attack first, and that is physical lifestyle. It's your physical activity that surrounds gambling. Gambling itself is a very sedentary pastime, very sedentary addiction. You know, most gambling is done indoors, not outside in the sunshine and fresh air. It's done in a seated position. You know, if you're gambling online, if you're gambling on FOBTs, maybe you're standing up. But ultimately, you're not going to be getting an awful lot of exercise, an awful lot of physical activity whilst you're gambling. So it is particularly bad for your health to be stood in one spot, sat in one place for, let's face it, hours and hours on end. Also, when I was gambling a lot, I found myself away from home, away from positive dietary options. You know, I will preface all of this by saying that I'm not a great cook. Cooking to me is sticking something in the oven, is boiling something in a pan, maybe sticking something in the microwave. I could grill something, possibly, at a push, but I'm certainly no chef. And like I say, if I heat up a pizza in the oven and cook some veg on the stove, to me, that is cooking. So this will differ, of course, for different people. But when I was out gambling, particularly in the days when I was gambling for multiple hours per day, not only was I not moving very much, not only was I outside exercising and doing positive physical activity, I was also away from places where healthy options were more prevalent. So I would be snacking on McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, all the fast food, or on pies, pasties, shop-bought sandwiches, crisps, all of those sorts of things, or whatever that particular arcade was dishing out free of charge to its mug punters that day. So yes, gambling, and like I say, particularly when I was gambling for multiple hours a day, did affect my health in that respect. I was eating very badly, I was moving very little, and it did have a very, very negative impact on my life, particularly actually when I was playing fruit machines, both for a living and as an addict. I was spending an awful lot of time in pubs drinking beer, which is, yes, that's a story for another day. But the main reason that I found that gambling took its toll on my health was actually more of a psychological reason. And there was two reasons for this. Firstly, motivation. When you're gambling, you put yourself in a very, very negative mindset. And that's not necessarily just because of a loss, but gambling itself is a depressant. Whilst you may have highs and lows of dopamine, ultimately you will always come away feeling a low because you've had the highs. And like I said, that is irregardless of a win or a loss. Now, more often than not, it's a loss, which of course has that added negative psychological impact. And after that, not only do you not feel like cooking, you don't have the motivation to cook, so you get a takeaway or something quick and easy, which is inevitably very unhealthy. You also don't have any, motivation, any will to go to the gym, or even to go out for a walk or a jog or anything, that is physically beneficial to you. You don't have any motivation for other indoors bedroom-based exercise either. But at least I found I didn't have that either, and that has another negative impact, another physical and psychological, and in that respect, a relationship-based negative impact. But also, aside from a lack of motivation, Gambling instills in you, and I think this is my main point and my main observation, gambling is a very, very quick fix addiction. It provides instant gratification. It provides an instant hit of dopamine. It provides an instant, an instant hit of adrenaline, dopamine, and all the rest of it. So once you have an addiction to that, you start applying, in my experience, you start applying that requirement for instant gratification, and possibly more importantly, the inability or the unwillingness to defer any of your gratification. You start to apply that across the rest of your life. And if you start to have an unwillingness to defer gratification, you are far, far more susceptible to, quick false positives. So you're far, far more susceptible to alcohol, because alcohol, although it is a depressant, in the short term, it gives you a very, very quick impact. So I was drinking a lot more. Fast food, takeaways, fatty, salty food, high-calorie food gives you a quick hit. It gives you a quick, scratches a quick itch. It gives you a quick, positive that you can, give yourself a very, very sort of instant feel-good factor. And there are lots of other things, of course, that provide that quick hit and don't require you to defer gratification. So, yes, when it comes to eating, you would much rather have a McDonald's than actually go home and spend time preparing a meal, which is going to be more healthy, but actually ultimately will possibly be more satisfying, and it will save you money and all the rest of it. I found, and this is something that I noticed I repeated time and time again when I was gambling, that I would follow a very distinct pattern. I would be gambling, and quite often that would be, like I say, in bookies or around pubs, in playing the fruit machines or whatever, and I would lose a huge amount of money. I'd pretty much bet and lose my bottom dollar, but I wouldn't lose all my money. And what I'd do is I would save a little bit. There'd always be a little bit left over at the end. And some would say that seems really sensible, so you can actually buy food for the next few weeks or till payday or whatever, or you can get by or save a bit of money to do what you need to do. But no, that wasn't it. I saved myself enough money so on the way home I could stop and get a bottle of whiskey, bottle of vodka, craft beer, whatever. It was normally spirits. And when I get home and I crack open that alcohol, I could also order a takeaway, order a dirty, greasy kebab from the local kebab shops, have that delivered, and that would be the last of my money. So I was basically transitioning from one addiction to other addiction. So not only was I continuing this need for instant gratification, instant satisfaction, for scratching these addictive itches that I had, I'd also kind of past the point of caring. I'd got into self-destruct mode, and self-destruct mode is something I want to talk about in a future video. It's the same thing, I believe, that leads you to being, going from a small loss to a substantial, a sizable and a damaging loss. We've all been there, haven't we? You've got 500 quid in your bank account, you lose 200 of it gambling, and it almost feels like a race to the bottom where you want to lose the rest because you're something in your brain switches and you just go, oh, fuck it, that's it, whatever, I'm going to do my brains, that's it. And I found I transferred that onto food, onto alcohol, and I was leaving a losing gambling session despondent, but also high off the dopamine and in need for more quick fixes, and also, I guess, in a way to create a positive for myself. So in a way, the day hadn't felt like a complete disaster because I still had something to look forward to once the gambling finished. I'm sorry if I've not explained that particularly well, but yes, gambling had a massive impact on my physical health. Obviously, it had a massive impact on my mental health as well, not just because of the gambling itself, but because of a lack of motivation for exercise, a lack of motivation to do anything positive physically, and also across addiction, and a reliance on instant gratification and unwillingness and inability to defer gratification, which I then put on to other aspects of my life. Sorry if I've meandered a bit there. I possibly could have explained to myself a little bit clearer if I'd sort of thought this video through a bit more in advance, a bit scripted, but I thought it was a really good question. Let me know your experiences of this. Does that sort of ring true with you? I don't know whether it was just me that did that, that, you know, say after a massive loss, just want to drown your sorrows and continue yourself with quick hits and quick positives. And these quick hits are something else I want to talk about, certainly in terms of social media and other things going forward. So let me know your thoughts. First video back, so apologies the rushness for the rushedness of it all, but I do appreciate your continuing support, and I will catch you, of course, on the next one. Stay safe, stay sane, and I'll speak to you all soon. Cheers, guys.